Okay, thank you for joining me. I'm hitting a very heavy subject today, and I'm going to call this video Satan, Chitinam, and Mudfossil creation. The disconnect here is between the science world and other things is the supernatural. That's the disconnect. I'm going to explain to you how I even came to mud fossils. This gentleman here, Professor Ike Nathan Uzorma, he's out of South Africa. I've read both of his books, and I'm going to show you how I even came to him. So I'm going to switch over to, yes, of all things, the Bible here, Ephesians chapter 6, and I'm going to show you what I had going on and the question that is being answered. Okay, so this is how I even got to mud fossils. This is how I even got hooked up with Roger Spur. I was doing a study at the time on the book of Ephesians chapter 6, and what I specifically did is I asked Jesus Christ. He says, you have not because you ask not. And so what I was specifically asking him was in chapter 12, or chapter 6, verse 12, it says, for we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in heavenly places. I specifically asked the Lord to show me what these entities were. Who are these rulers in these dark places? Who are these spiritual hosts? Who are these people, these principalities? And he took me to this guy. Okay, the Holy Spirit answered my question, who these entities are. And he answered them through this guy. This guy was in the occult practices. He was going to be the next occult grand master, the next avatar, the next messiah in the 12 demonic kingdoms. I bought both of his books immediately and read both his. He's got a volume 1 and 2. Absolutely incredible. I would tell you this, if you're playing with witchcraft, if you're playing with Ouija boards, I would run so fast it's not even funny. You do not understand what is going on. This man was he was up to the 12th realm in the demonic kingdom. He met Chitinam himself, Satan. See, Satan does not come to us, he comes in many forms. He doesn't come in just as Satan. He comes as Chitinam. He comes as many different names on this planet to many different cultures. And many people are being deceived. But this is what he brought me to learn about what these entities are in these places that we don't understand. And that's what mud fossilization has to do with some of this, is the creation of the earth and the heavens and everything itself. So I'm going to get into it a little deeper here. Okay, one thing I wanted to say about Satan or Lucifer or the fallen angels, whatever they might be, they're shapeshifters. They take on the form of different entities. Ike Uzorma here, he talks about how Satan is a 32-year-old looking businessman, but when Jesus appears, he has to morph into what he really is, and he turns into a 7-headed demon, like a dragon. That's what he really is. But he's able to shapeshift. The things that died, and God created or died in this war, and he created the heavens out of them, these mud fossils, these things are still alive. Their souls did not die. They've just taken on the body of something else now. Just like when we die, our soul doesn't die. We go on and then something happens in the afterlife. Good and bad. But anyway, so there's a lot of supernatural stuff going on here that science cannot explain. And they cannot allow that part in. Now this guy has been in the occult world, in the 12 demonic kingdoms. He was going to be the next Messiah, the next Jesus Christ, if you will, in the demonic kingdom. So he understands things that are way beyond what people playing with tarot cards and stuff like that even have an inkling of what's going on. And this man is trying to warn people. Jesus Christ brought him out of it. That's the only thing that could have saved him. And it brought him out of it. Incredible story, incredible bunch of events that was going on. He was actually killing the soul of a bishop. And in turn, that soul would die and kill that bishop in the physical world. And Satan was there. Satan only steps in certain instances in humanity. And he has the power to take a life. And God's given him this power right now on this earth. And we're dealing with a lot of supernatural stuff that people do not understand. And a lot of this, mud fossils deals with this supernatural stuff that people do not understand. That's what mud fossilization is about. God's creation, He's now revealed it, and it's not what man said it is. It's not a bunch of molten rocks and billions of years. It's stuff that he dealt with bad stuff that went on before we even know what existed, before we even existed, before the planets and everything you see now existed. There was something else, and God dealt with it, and that's what we're seeing now, and we are a part of that plan. Even you walking on this earth, watching this video right now, are a part of this plan. Okay, so here's the problem we're having. Most sciences, especially geology, ones like that, will not allow the concept of the supernatural of God in. Okay, that's just the bottom line. Even with the theology, there is no room for God because we all came from the unknown, from a big bang. We're going to go find a Goldilocks planet, a new dwarf star, and all live on and live happily ever after. And ancient texts do not show us that, do not even tell us that. And we ignore them. So the disconnect is between the supernatural and God and man and his science. And there's a lot of scientists, a lot of people are realizing there is a God now. And there is more to this because things just aren't coming out the way that everybody thought it was. The information's not coming out the way it was. Science isn't coming out the way it was. Too many unanswered questions. Can't even figure out gravity. On and on and on. So we do have a good team and a bad team, so to speak. There's only two teams. You have God himself with the one team and his followers, and you have the other side of the coin and Lucifer's team and those followers. And so basically that's what this whole thing is about, good versus evil, and it's been going on since the beginning of time. Now, to ignore the supernatural and things like that is, in my opinion, just foolish. And there's too much evidence to point to this being true. And so I'm going to show you some people and some things going on here where people can see this and they've actually experienced things, and it's changed their lives because they actually have allowed outside the box thinking, and they've allowed things, instances in their lives, and they've paid attention and they've let those instances change their lives. Okay, so I am going to be getting into the mud fossilization part in a minute. It all has to do with creation, and creation is not what man says it is. God is tired of man saying we came from molten rocks and billions of years, and he's now revealed what his creation really is before it. And it's through mud fossilization of stuff that we don't understand, of some stuff in the past that was here that we have no idea what it was. There was some cosmic war, and all these creatures got turned into planets and their body parts, and they're mud fossilized, and that's what's going on. So there's a supernatural part in this that people just on the scientific side cannot see, but there are people that are seeing it, and I'm going to show you one right now. This lady is Dr. Mary Neal. Okay, she was the head, or is the head of, this is 4 years ago, the director of spine surgery at a major university. So she's been down the road of all the scientific research. She's a surgeon. She can operate on people, so we know she's no dummy. Now, she's had a major life experience happen to her, and listen to what she says about science and the supernatural. I'm going to show you a spot right here. Okay, so what she's going to say is she was always taught that she had to choose between science and spirituality. Okay? Okay, I'm going to play a clip here and listen to what she says about science and spirituality. Hopefully you can hear it here.
And then I went to college and medical school and training. And I bought into the idea that you had to choose between science and spirituality. Now, I was a good person. I mean, I certainly bought into the concept of being a good person and honest and ethical and a woman of integrity and all those sorts of things. But the fact is I was really busy. I became a wife, a full-time surgeon. I was the director of spine surgery at a big university. And pretty soon I had 4 little kids to take care of.
See, she was into surgery at a big major university, head of the spinal institute there. I mean, this woman knows her stuff. And you need to come and watch it. I died, went to heaven, and came back. And she says some incredible stuff here that's just remarkable, and I'll show you. Okay, she's going to discuss here what she was trying to figure out. She died. She was underwater for like 20, 30 minutes. She's a surgeon, so she understands death. And she was trying to figure out whether she was having neurotransmitter problems. She was trying psychology problems. She was trying to figure out everything she could to what had happened to her, her experience. And listen to what she says about science and spirituality.
I researched, of course, dreams and hallucinations and DMT or other neurotransmitter trips. Could it have been just the physiologic process of a dying brain? And at the end of many, many months of research, I had to conclude that mine had been a true and spiritual experience. And I discovered also that science and spirituality actually coexist very easily because they answer different questions.
Okay, did you hear what she just said? She says science and spirituality can coexist. They need to coexist because it answers questions. So this is a lady that's been to now the science world would call her crazy all of a sudden. Where you need to come watch this. Even if you're a geologist, no matter who you are, come up and watch this lady. Dr. Mary Neal. Okay, I'm going to move on. Okay, those of you that haven't watched this or do not know who this gentleman is, this is John Lennox. He is was Cambridge's mathematician. Math rules all science because without math you can't have science. So this guy rules. And he's shown the existence of God. Science itself actually shows the existence of God. So, a person would have to call this guy retarded then because he's talking about God, right? But yet he's so smart. He rules right now because he's a mathematician. A very good mathematician, John Lennox. And he's debating Richard Dawkins, who is a biologist. So go up and watch this. Incredible debate. It's been there for years. But this is John Lennox debating, has science buried God? No. You need to go watch this. Has science buried God? Okay, another debate. John Lennox versus Christopher Hitchens. He died of cancer. One of the greatest leaders in atheism, okay? And John Lennox is God great. They're debating, is God even in existence? And of course John Lennox blows him away because God is great and God does exist. And right now he's come through Jesus Christ. So go up and watch this debate. Now these guys are really knowledgeable people. They're not a bunch of idiots. Especially John Lennox. He's a mathematician at Cambridge, or was. So go up and watch this debate also on God. Because basically this all comes down to God. And science says he doesn't exist, but all reality shows he does. Okay, Roger Spur just put up a video I seen here yesterday. It's called Dragon Body Located and Undeniable. And it's got Thunderbolts Project. I'm actually subscribed to these two, Wal Thornbird or whatever his name is. I watch this stuff myself. And I do understand it is an electrical sky. I get that. But what I'm talking about is the supernatural. And they're even touching on the supernatural in this. And then Roger gets into the dragons, which he does, which I get into now. All this dragon stuff. And the thing is, we're finding it, and we're finding it on the planet, and that's what's going on. Jesus Christ brought mud fossilization. After he showed me Ephesians chapter 6 and what all that meant, I asked him to show me more. I asked God to show me more. I want to know stuff that no one else knows. And he brought me to this channel, to Roger Spur. When I first came to Mud Fossils University, it was back in February last year, I thought this guy was crazy, absolutely bonkers. And I started watching his stuff, started studying it, started doing some research, and I went out and found it myself and found out it's true. Jesus Christ brought me to Roger Spur to bring all this stuff to you, and he's using us to bring creation and the supernatural to you to try to get people to open their eyes and realize that it's all true and that we're being led down the wrong road. So if you get a chance, go up here and watch Dragon Body Located Undeniable. And I'm going to show you some stuff now too that I've discovered. Okay. Now whether people like it or not, and I use Google Earth, I mean, Well, there's 2D, 1D, 3D, 10D, I don't care. I mean that with respect. This is a dragon, the head of a dragon. That is what that is, okay? You can see the guarding up in here, the brow up in here of his guarding. You can see the V coming down through here on his nose, down to the tip of his nose. Here's his mouth right in here, the upper lip. Right in here. Here's the lower part of the lip. That's the opening of his mouth right there. But it's splayed out flat. These things are embedded into the earth, and the earth is made out of these creatures. There was something here before we come along. I don't know what happened in its forehead. That's its right eye. Okay, this is its right eye. That's the membrane around it. Its left eye is over here, all crushed and stuff. I don't know what's going on with it, but it's over here. That's where the left eye is, okay? But that is what this is. Here you can see the indentations in the ground of the same thing that's on this side right here of its crown, where its guarding is right along in through here. I don't know what's kind of poured out with the brain right here, but that is what's going on. You come in here and look at some of this stuff. If it'll adjust, just look at this stuff. And you got a lot of the bathtub ring that settled down on top of it. And so stuff is poked up through it. But anyway, I'm going to show you some other stuff of what I have here on the coast to show you at what scale it would be. You can actually walk up to membranes and molecules and stuff because it's on a cellular level. Okay, I'm actually going to show some pictures this time and not video, so you folks at home can actually freeze the film and it will be really clear. This here's tissue, and this is the membrane that the tissue's setting on. I sent this to a geologist the other day in Australia, and which I knew he was going to tell me that was a sedimentary deposit. Of course it looks like a sedimentary deposit, but that is not what that is. That's part of this. It's collapsed down onto it, part of the membrane. I'm going to show you some more video or pictures here that you can just... This is what would be on that dragon, because we're living on a dragon here in North America also. California is actually in the right eye, I believe. Okay, here's more. Here's another shot. Here's another one of something. Now look at it. I believe these are hair follicles. See these lines going across here? These perfect lines. There's another one here that's decayed. There's more you'll see in some more pictures here. Look at this one down here. There's one here that's rotted off. There's one here that's broken off. Another one right here. These are hair follicles. And the stuff around it, which was the material that didn't survive as well, the flesh, it's decayed around it. This stuff was a tougher material, and it's poking up through it. There's one of them right there. See these segment lines? See these back here on this one? This stuff is stuff that's embedded, I believe, in it when it became soft. But this is the flesh around it that's melted down and collapsed around to it, and these are poking up through it. Okay? There's more of them. See, these are hair follicles. There was one right here beside it. They're all over down there. These are interstitium balls. This is take a real good look at this stuff all around it, the matting that's laying around it, in through here. Take a look at this matting, okay? And this is what would be underneath the skin, underneath your skin. But it's on such a level, you can, I mean, these things are bigger than, they're huge, enormous. And here, this is more of those hair follicles, or the tips of them, sticking out through the tissue that's collapsed down on top of it. See these in a row? So there is the supernatural. These are interstitium balls that are just collected like that. Here's more of those follicles. Look at this stuff back in here. Look in the background. Look at this right here. Now look at this. Look at these round balls in here. Look at this. This is a matting, a fabric, if you will, that goes over tissue, or it's sticking up through the tissue. Look at this in the background back in here. Look at this. Look at the structure and the design. And it had to have a designer behind it. There's more. Look at this matting in here. Look at the texture and the pattern, okay? All around this interstitium balls. Here's more of that interstitium. All that's tissue. This is tissue, the tan stuff, with this stuff collapsed down on top of it, okay? Look at all that matting in these balls in here. Here's more of them up close. See that? Look at it. This is tissue in here. Look, that's all melted looking. Okay, because it's decomposed and mud fossilized. It's decayed, just like a rotten animal laying in a ditch line. But it's gotten to a really severe point where you can't recognize it. See, this stuff isn't recognizable because it's all decayed. That's why you're not recognizing it to look like a perfect dragon or a perfect whatever. So I hope that makes sense. Here's a shot with these membrane. There's that membrane with the squares sticking out right here. Those hair follicles are down in here, and there's more of them right through here. This place is just loaded. I'll be going back pretty soon to get... I was only there for about 3 hours. I'm going to be doing some close-up work here pretty soon. Okay, here's what I want to show you. See this seam right here? You see how this is this material and then it goes into that material? That's impossible with a lava flow. Are you kidding me? Let's do a close-up, folks. See this? And see that? Now look at this. Look at that seam. Look at the stuff embedded in there and how this is all chunky. See how it's transitioning into that? This is not lava. That's actually tissues and things like that with minerals and blood in it. Look at that stuff embedded in there. Okay, so I'm showing you biology of these giants. Okay, here's another picture. This is actually a membrane with the transfer channels. And that way you can have a good look at it. Here's some more close-ups of the membrane. And these are the membranes, just like the one in China. You could find these membranes also if they were fossilized with salt water. That's mostly inland. Here's another shot. And a close-up shot. And last one. Now this is a lipid, and I'm not sure if it's bilipid or not. There's 4 membranes stacked here. But this is evidence of membrane on a living dragon that the Earth is created out of. Another shot of it, up close. Okay, I've been watching this video. This is Wade Rum Jordan in 4K ultra high definition. And it's all biological. This is muscle, this is muscle, this is muscle. They're walking through muscle. That is, look at the blood, look at the black, look at it coming down through there. That's why they're even able to write in it. It's soft. This is muscle. 100% muscle. A mountain of it. It's not what they think it is. It's not millions and billions years of sedimentary deposits and stuff. It looks like it, yes, but that is not what it is. Okay, I'm going to throw something else at you. This is for all geologists. They'd like to throw this out. This is Pittman and Ryan, 2 geologists, on the Black Sea Deluge hypothesis. This is when the Black Sea rose, I think it was like 20 feet an hour, and dispersed millions of people out into Mesopotamia. That could have only been from a planet coming close by and gravity doing that, pulling on the water. But yet they want to dismiss this. This would have been the Noah event, which did happen, by the way. Okay, so I'm going to wrap things up here, and that's where we're at. That's why we're butting heads, because science and supernatural cannot see eye to eye. But I brought you a lot of evidence, a lot of things to look at today, a lot of things to think about, even for you out there in the science community. Because the bottom line is we're all not going to make it through this. And to deny the existence of God or a creator is not going to be a good thing. So I'm hoping this will open somebody's eyes out there to make them realize that there is an afterlife, and that you start seeking God, and that is through Jesus Christ. And this isn't about coming and lecturing to you about religion or anything. Jesus Christ was the most anti-religious person that walked the earth. Look what he was saying to the Pharisees, which were the religious people of the earth. He was saying, woe to you, woe to you, woe to you. He wasn't telling them you're doing a great job. So anyway, have a great day. God bless. Bye-bye now. Lots of stuff to think about. All right.